Evening, everyone, and welcome back. This is Sunday. Of course, we are going live and we are about to talk about, of course, everything that happened yesterday. Obviously, losing 4-1 away at Burton Albion. And then we're going to be joined by Matt Farley from the Stevenage FC Podcast. He'll be on in about 20 minutes, obviously, as we preview that game ahead of our finally a home game, which seems like ages we haven't played at home. But yeah, appreciate everyone that is tuning in on the live. If you're watching back on the replay, then don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and leave your starting 11 predictions and your score predictions in the comments below. But yeah, if you are watching in on the live, then yeah, get your questions in, even to Oscar, who's just joined as well. Of course, don't forget to join Fan Hub as well if you already haven't. The code is down the screen right now. It is ONER79, so there's loads of unlimited spaces. Just join that. And yeah, keep up the amazing support. Of course, this is episode 5 tonight. Just because, we got a game on Tuesday, we always do this. Normally, we do go live at 8 on a Thursday. But of course, tonight, because of the home game on Tuesday against Stevenage, we're, going to be discussing everything, basically, that's going on in the weekend. And obviously the, few days coming up for the next game. But as always, joined by Neil. How's it going, Neil?
Yeah, I'm all right, fella. You all right?
Not too bad. Apart from yesterday, it is what it is, though, isn't it? It is football, but obviously talking about that, how was your little post on No Context Rovers? I seen that he caught you.
Well, like I said, it would have been nice, wouldn't it? Everyone would have liked 4-0, but turns out we just go up there and get walloped 4-1 instead. But is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, obviously getting onto the game. We'll get onto the team sheet first. I'm sure everyone was amazed to see Marcus back already. Kramer back. There was talk of him meant to be going back to Brentford, and him being out injured till January or sort of late December, but he was back on the bench with Marquis. Obviously, we had McCormick. We knew the news a few days before that he was going to be out. Giovanni Brown was out through suspension. Gibbons come in. Sinclair came in for a start. What was your first thoughts when you seen the starting lineup?
Yeah, I think I was as surprised as anyone, really. Gibbo back in from nowhere, Grant Ward back in from nowhere. Marcus and Kramer on the bench from nowhere. Like, we don't hear about these things; they just turn up, and then you get, like, especially when you're hearing what was the Marcus one, like 6, 7, 8 weeks or something. He was going to be out, wasn't he? Like, he's come back dead early. Kramer's probably has been at Brentford for his medical stuff. Returned from nowhere. Grant Ward again from nowhere. Gibbo never looked like he was getting a look in, back in the side. But it's a bit like the League Two campaign when you could never guess Joey's team sheet. You know what I mean? You could never guess it. And just, I don't know if it's needs must, and you patch holes because we're that threadbare in certain areas. But I didn't see that coming, to be honest, as far as a team sheet lineup. But like I said before, I'm never that bothered. I think we've got enough quality in that squad and enough personnel in certain areas to be able to cope and be able to deliver a performance. I never looked at that at 2 o'clock and thought, "Whoa, we're banging the shit here."
Yeah, definitely. Even into Gordo as well, even into Ben Darrell, even in lads. Do you think the lack of press conferences is now hint at Barton perhaps is under pressure? No, I don't think it's that. I think it's sort of, obviously we'll get into sort of the Barton stuff. And yeah, the level of injuries is worrying, says Gordo. But yeah, I mean, Neil, what was your thoughts? Obviously, you didn't go; you watched it on iFollow. Did it look any better watching it on iFollow than it was? Because apart, like for me, the first 10 minutes we come out brilliantly, scored probably the best team goal we've scored so far this season. Brilliant goal, great ball over for Collins. Evans got his first league goal of the season. It looked really good. I was buzzing. Obviously, all the gas is 1,100 there as well. Buzzing, and then we go on and play like how we did. What did you make of the start and the first half of the game?
yeah, it didn't look too dissimilar to what you've just said there. Really, we've come out. I've talked about it week in, week out about us making early pressure count, established the ball, got on top, kept it, moved it, created a bit of early pressure, nicked herself a goal. And from what I've seen of Rovers, not just this season, but of certain spells last season, forget the end of it because that was just running nowhere fast. But when we go 1-0 up, we sort of establish the ball, we keep it, we move it. Our game management's good. And I looked at that side and thought, right, we're 1-0 up here against a hard-working, hustle and bustle side. All we'll do is move it, pass the out of them, the football IQ of some of them senior pros out there, and we'll make our life really easy. And we just went away from doing exactly what we did to get the goal, retreated. We sort of, all the urgency dropped off of us, and it played into Burton's hand. Burton just decided to go, right, we'll get after these now. And once they got after us, we looked all at sea.
Yeah, I mean, is there any question or what's your thoughts on why do you think we just stopped playing? Like, do you have to give credit for Burton, or do you have to say why we just stopped? Because it was almost like we literally just stopped. We thought, I said on my reaction earlier, it was almost like we went 1-0 up and thought, yeah, that's fine, and then we just stopped. Like, why do you think we did that?
I don't know if it's a mental thing to know that we are goal shy. We create a load of chances more often than not. We Saturday, balls flashing across the box, 6-yard box. But there must be a mental block there to know that there's concern that we go forward and get nowhere. We don't score goals. We don't score anywhere near the amount of goals that we should be scoring with, one, the amount of ball retention we have, and two, the sort of the XG and what we do create to get in good areas to create chances. And I don't know if that's just a mental block to think we're 1-0 up here. We know we're good at keeping the ball, but we won't commit too much here because, we are goal shy. And I think we got stuck between sort of a rock and a hard place of not sticking or twisting. And then once Burton started picking up second balls, and getting a bit of the ball, they decided, and it must have been something they spoke about in the week, that they're going to go right down our left-hand side and try and get on the inside of Harvey Vale. That was their trigger. They were going to go down that side and try and get as much joy as they could. And that's what they did. And like I said about old habits dying hard, you put enough pressure in our 18-yard box, you'll get success. And that's what they did. Yeah. Get the ball wide, get it into a vulnerable area, put it into the box. Doesn't matter if it's got a lot of quality on it or not, but if you bombard that box with a lot of men, create a bit of chaos, and put it into an area, you'll get a bit of success against Rovers at the minute, and that's what they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Keep hitting the like button if you haven't already. 26 people currently on the live. Do hit the like button. It always does help if we can get close to 50 likes on the live, and then after it be quality. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new as well. I mean, what did you make of it's just the way we conceded the goals? What did you make of that? Because it wouldn't even, it was just so easy for them, wasn't it? Just to go past, for the first goal, everyone just sort of stood still. They got it in the box and, no one was there. And then the second goal, was it when they got it over the left-hand side? I don't know what Gibbons is doing. I don't know how he's letting him have so much time and space to cut in, then cross it in, and then what did you make of the way we conceded them first two goals?
It's disappointing, but it's not surprising at the minute. You know what I mean? As good as we've been recently, and of our fullbacks going forward and creating chances, we're susceptible a little bit. But when we look at how we defend between centre half and fullback, that area in between those two, like that yardage and that distance that we cover, we're vulnerable in them areas. And when that ball eventually, gets played in and you've got a genuine goal threat against you, they get, like I said, teams get success. And like I said in the week, the blueprint isn't too difficult of how you get success against us at the minute. You know what I mean? Survive the early pressure, which they didn't, and they conceded, and it was our own downfall to let them back in. But if you can survive a bit of early pressure, start to retrieve the second ball and get the ball into wide, deep areas and get bodies in the box, you'll create a bit of chaos against Rovers. And that's what happened. And they managed to get like 2, if not 3 goals off the back of that. Well, 2, because a couple of them were, the third's a worldie. But to be honest, if I'm a screen or a centre half, I'm saying shoot from there. Go on, shoot and see how good you are. And it's flown in. But the fourth one where he's cutting and fired it over the top, I think Cox probably look at that and think he should do better. But how it's got there again is far too easy when you look at distances, recovery runs, and all the rest of it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just to get your thoughts on that again, the way we started so well and then sort of went in our shell a little bit. Do you think that's because of the recent away form that adds to that as well? Because now we've got 5 losses overall, and 4 of the losses have come in away games. Like it's sort of mixed and matched from last season. Last season we were like, I think we were the 5th or 6th best team in the league, and now this season we've done better at home. Obviously recent games. Do you think that adds a little bit into it?
I don't know about that, but I think you talk about mix and match. I think that's our side week in, week out now. We're patching holes. We're playing different personnel each week in different areas. I mean, we've got a massive squad. We've got loads of injuries, and we just haven't got any continuity in our side at the minute to get any real, week on, week out form relationships to, get ourselves into our strides. Because at the minute, someone's going down with a knock. The next week, someone else is in. Then the next week, someone else is in. We just haven't got that real continuity. But the be all and end all is we're not good enough in both boxes at the minute. That's the end and tail of it. Talk about possession stats all you want and how nice we are on the eye. But when the nitty gritty comes of what you do in both boxes, we're not good enough at the minute. And that's just fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just frustrating at the moment. Ben Darrell saying pissing it around with it at the back didn't help us. We need a leader on the field. Sorry, but Finley isn't a leader. Admittedly, he came on as a sub, saying Gordo. Missing Wilson massively. Yeah, I agree. That's what Ben said. And Rossiter in midfield. Wish we had him as well. Yeah, to be fair, I don't think we'll see Rossiter for a long, long while because he's just had so many issues. He's obviously the main long-term issue. But yeah, I mean, I do agree with you. The fact that at the moment there has been a lot of, swapping and changing. Like you said, players going down with injuries, and the next week there's 3 or 4 changes. But it's still got to be. I know we've got a lot of injuries, but even then we have a team at the moment that is still more than capable enough of getting a result. But it's just the way how easy it was. Like, what do you make of how easy it is to play against us, especially the last sort of? It's not. Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, especially yesterday, because I know Oxford, I know we lost, but we played well for the majority. Same as Peterborough, we played well for the majority. But like you said, at the moment, we're not good enough in both boxes. You look at the chances we had against Peterborough, and even the spell. I want to actually get your thoughts and let me know in the comments as well of that goal we scored yesterday. I don't know how. I said in my reaction, the ref was a shambles, but it is the norm, and he's not the reason why we lost. But that is a big moment in it when we equalise through Harvey Vell, start of the second half, where we had a really good spell. Evans gets fouled. Their player goes down holding his head, and the ref disallows the goal. Like, what do you make of that? Why do you think he's done that? Because it wasn't even a foul, and he had especially that start of the second half 10-15 minute spell. The ref was, I mean, it's a joke, and
it's an easy out though. It's an easy out it's an easy out for a referee, because if he sees anyone go down holding their head, it's an easy out, and just blow up and say it's head injury. What else can I do? Like, I didn't see it, I didn't know it, but if someone goes down holding their head, you can't just ignore it. He's got someone up in the stands assessing him.
Yeah, but even then, though, like it's a joke because I think Carrot. I was watching the Villa game earlier on, and Zaniolo for Villa did exactly the same thing, holding his head even though he didn't even get touched by his head, and the refs pulled up and give it. I mean, fair enough. You can, depending on how he's went down or whatever, you can assess it. But surely, because that's a big moment in the game. Like, do we go on to win that game? Maybe. Do we go on to lose it? Maybe. But still, it's a big impact in the game, and you've got to get that right. And you could see from the stand, like, that is it's a massive decision which he's got wrong. I think it's a joke.
An official can only referee a game on the instruction he's given. And if his higher power is telling him to referee a game that way, and say, if this instance occurs and this happens, our direction is that you blow up and stop the game. It's not. He may not want to, but he's got a referee to instruction of his higher power, hasn't he?
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Like he's going to get judged and assessed on that, and he needs to get judged and assessed on how the people above deem the game to be refereed. That referee may not want to give that, but he sort of has to, else he gets marked down.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, Ben, I sort of agree with Ben anyway. He said even if that had counted, I don't think we'd have won that game. We looked like we were going to concede every time they went through. Yeah, that's true. Like most of the majority of the season, we've been fairly good defensively, but yesterday it's true. Like every time they went forward, we were just all over the place.
They probably should have had a penalty anyway. The Gibbo one's an handball.
Yeah, I didn't really see it from the away end.
If that gets looked at the highest level, and you go and look at the monitor, they give that's handball. So like we get away with one, they get away, we get away with one, they get given one. You know, it's all swings and roundabouts. But we should have got pumped, and we did.
Yeah. I said even with that decision, I think we didn't deserve anything anyway. And like, you know, even Dina Mamria said after the game, I don't even think Burton played that well, and they still thrashed us. And I mean, we're going to bring on Matt in a second as well. He's in the background waiting. Tom Butler saying even with the injuries, I expect us to bounce back against Stevenage. We can't keep blaming the refs. Yeah, I know. I did say that though earlier. I said even the ref was poor, but I said it's the norm, and we didn't deserve anything anyway. I want to get your thoughts. I know we discussed it a little bit the other day, but after a lot of, the general consensus seems to be a lot of people are very, very frustrated at the moment with Barton, the sort of run, the way we're not, when we do win games, we can't back it up. It's tactics, no plan B, etc. And with the run sort of we got after Stevenage with Northampton at home, with Fleetwood coming up, with Carlisle coming up, Reading. What do you make of the whole thing? Obviously, I know I'm not Barton out. Neil isn't either, but it sort of does come a time because, say for example, Tuesday we go 1-0 down, and you know how quick the it turns as well. Like, what do you make of the whole situation of Barton and the general consensus, and what's your thoughts on that?
Personally, I think it's a bit of a reactionary storm in a teacup. No one likes getting pumped 4-1, and no one likes not starting a campaign well. But I expect a lot of it is just because of Barton's character and the fact that, we're not doing great and people aren't a fan of him, rightly or wrongly, and they prefer him not to be around. So it's probably one of them, but I think it's probably a bit reactionary. I don't see what good getting rid of him now does. I don't see how that benefits anything, to be honest. Like I said to you the other day, I don't pay any attention to the table. Like, it's flashed up everywhere to show that we're 17th, but I wouldn't have known that if no one would have put it right in front of my face. Well, I mean, why look now? We're a million miles away from anywhere near being involved in this season just yet. You know what I mean? What are we? If you was to say that playoffs is the objective, which I'm not even sure it is. I think getting close to it is probably the board's objective. But what are we, like 12 games in, 7 points off? I mean, is that critical? Is that horrific? Is that worthy of like getting really like emotional about it? Like, it's not a great start. It's an all right start. Saturday was terrible. They happen every now and then. I've said from day one, the Jono things hurt us massively. And I don't think you can point the finger at Joey for that. Like, that's inept in other areas, whether that be administration or whatever else. But I think we're a different side if we've got a focal point and a genuine A1 goal threat. There are plenty in that side that needs to be addressed, and it probably will get addressed. But if you look at how we started our League Two campaign when we got promoted, we were a shit show early doors. And we're not a shit show at the minute. We're not great. We're probably below average, but I think there's plenty of improvement to be made. We desperately need a centre forward. We will go nowhere fast unless we get a marquee centre forward, and that has to happen in January. But I think it could get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, well, hopefully, like I said, we just talked about the run coming up. Like, the next Tuesday is massive. We'll get onto it, but Stevenage aren't in the best of form. 1 win in the last 6 in all comps. And then, we talked about the other games we've got, especially the next 2, our home form's been good. We're unbeaten in the last 3, scoring 8 goals. 2 wins and a draw. So fingers crossed it can change coming up. But yeah, that's our thoughts. Obviously, keep leaving your thoughts as well. And yeah, Ben Dowell saying 7 points off relegation, 7 points off playoffs. So yeah, it's still early days, but yeah, the next games are massive, and we need to win and then get another win. So whether that will happen coming up, hopefully, but we don't know. But yeah, we've got joined by Matt Farley from the Stevenage FC Podcast. Appreciate you coming on, and yeah, how are you doing?
Yeah, chaps, thanks for having me on, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's nice coming in all these being a League One team. I never ever thought we would after the last 4 to 5 years that we've had as a club at Stevenage in the new era. So yeah, look, happy to be here.
Yeah. Appreciate you coming on. So yeah, first of all, I just want to get your thoughts on your game on Saturday. Obviously 0-0 at home against Port Vale. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people will be frustrated that we didn't win the match. And obviously, especially at home, I think, for us being a smaller club in this fantastic division, I think the home form is key. And we wanted to win the game on Saturday. But I think when we look at it, probably back in a couple of months, I think a lot of us will probably look at it as a good point, a decent point. We just lost away at Blackpool 3-0, and to get a result, to get a clean sheet, which was important after the 4 matches before where we conceded 9. So I think that was really important. I think looking at the performance, I think the first half for us on Saturday probably wasn't good enough to what we're normally used to. I think that was down to the way that we played, and Steve changed the side, and possibly shouldn't have changed the side. We were really, we played our style, which is fast and direct, but we left the big man out up top. So it just didn't work for that kind of first 45-minute period. But second half, we improved a lot, had the chances to win the game. Jamie Reid had a really good chance and hit the goalkeeper. So I think coming away from it, we thought that we should have won the match. But look, it's a tough league. There's a lot of good sides. It's a point on the board, and we move forward. Look, we're still 6th. We've got 22 points. We're doing incredible. So, yeah, look, I think we're looking at Tuesday as hopefully a good opportunity to get a win on the board.
Yeah, definitely. Considering your good start. What have you made of it? Like you said, you're 6th in the league. You have played 2 more games than a few teams, but still 22 points, 1-6, drew 4, lost 4. What have you made? You must be pretty buzzing, really, with the start that you've made this season.
Yeah, it's been incredible. I mean, I said to someone at the game yesterday, I'm still pinching myself that we're a League One team. So to pinch myself of being at the top of League One, it's just, yeah, I think we're all still kind of adjusting to that. It's been a great start. I mean, look, 22 points from 14 matches is brilliant. It's something we would have bitten your whole half of your body off for at the start of the season. But I think what's been really impressive, we've seen some excellent wins. We've seen some excellent performances. I mean, some of the wins that I think of, there's been a couple of 3-0ers in there. There's been some really comfortable victories, like the opening day away at Northampton and, the 2-0 win against Shrewsbury at home and Cambridge away 2-1, which we should have won a lot more. If Jamie Reid goes and scores another, which he should have. There's been some really good results and some excellent performances. And I think what's been really impressive about our start to the season, I think as a newly promoted side, sometimes it can take you a bit of time to get going, establish a style, get into the season. And for us, we hit it off straight away. I mean, no, the fixture list was very generous to us, but what we did is we got our style off early. We got some early results and it just settled the team down, even though we've had some injuries. So, yeah, look, it's been a tremendous start. We've got half the amount of points pretty much to stay up. So I think that's important, having that platform just, takes the pressure off the side, not being down there and, only having 8 to 10 points and looking over our shoulder. I think that was important. But yeah, look, it's been a fantastic start. I don't think any of us thought we'd be, in the top 6 in League One after 14 matches. So yeah, look, we've got to keep it up. We've got to make sure that the home form stays good. And again, the away form's been great. We've got 4 wins out of 7 away. So that's something that we want to, keep persisting with and keep picking up points from. But yeah, look, a brilliant start to the season, 22 points in the bag. And we've had some brilliant moments in that start too.
Yeah, definitely. Ben saying, I wish I had this bloke's energy when I went to watch Rovers. Yeah, Matt's always, to be fair, even I've seen you obviously. Matt's on Gab Sutton's sort of League One podcast, if you will, quite a lot. And he even when Stevenage aren't doing so well, even if he's always like, happy, chatty, loads of energy. So it's good to see. But yeah, Rovers fans, especially. Yeah, I wish I had the same energy after yesterday, but yeah, I don't, unfortunately. Neil, what's your thoughts on Stevenage, and have you got any questions for him about style of play? Obviously Steve Evans, the manager that every opposition fan hates, but if he was with you, you'd love him. And obviously let us know, Gareth, and if there's any Stevenage fans in the chat, if you've got any questions as well, please send them in, and we'll get Matt to answer them.
Yeah, I don't think there's any real secrets behind sort of Evans and what he's doing at Stevenage. It's there for all to see. Don't apologise for anything, and they go about getting their points the way they see fit. I think he's got a very different job on his hands compared to when he was at places like Leeds. He understands Stevenage, he understands the expectations, he understands what's required, and I think it's. I think he sends them out there pretty much like every week's a free hit, lads. Just go out and play and enjoy yourself. Play the way we play. Get in people's faces. Unsettled teams, and see what you can do at the other end of the pitch. And I think they're doing great, to be honest. And he's good at what he does, Steve Evans. At the end of the day, like you look at his record, he's you might think he's a bit of a whopper, but he's good at what he does. The question I have for Matt really is, because I don't know, is have you seen anything of Harry Anderson this season yet?
We've seen a little bit of Harry. He obviously had surgery, so he's missed a large chunk of the season. He hasn't really played a lot of football. We've seen a bit of him when he played in the League Cup away at Exeter. He came on and got an assist that day and was brilliant. I like him. I think he's a cracking player. It's a shame that we haven't had him for the whole start of the season, really. So, no, to answer your question, we've hardly seen him, really. Just a couple of matches here and there. Again, the League Cup springs to mind where he come on and got any good minutes that day. So it's been a bit disappointing. We've had a few injuries to really key players at the start of the season. Some have just come back and some are still on the sidelines. And unfortunately, Harry falls into that bracket. So I don't think he'll be there on Tuesday, unfortunately. But no, we haven't seen much of him. Again, I want him to get back, want him to get in the team. He'd be a very good addition to this squad, especially with the quality that he has in midfield. So, but no, we haven't seen much of him.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's the thing. When he was with us, I really liked him, but like you said, in the end, especially last season, his record was just too poor. I can't remember off the top of my head how many games he did play, but he'd always he always put in everything. He was really good in our League Two promotion season, but like you said, now he's just sort of suffering a bit with injuries and niggles, and it's always frustrating, isn't it, as a fan? You want him to do well. You know how good of a player they can be, but if it's always frustrating when they're not playing. Stefan saying, do you think Woods should have been sent off yesterday? What do you make of that, Neil? Quickly, do you reckon it was a red card?
Yeah, I don't think he can have many complaints, to be honest. And once he's given the referee a decision to make, isn't he? Like, he's got no business doing what he's doing. I don't think he can complain. I don't think anyone did complain. So yeah, probably. I think he should have got. Yeah, I don't think you can have any complaints. If he didn't get sent off, I'd have thought we got away with one, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in the crowd, I thought it wasn't, but looking back at it on the highlights, it looks straight in front of him as well. It does look like a red card. Big up to Harry tuning in. Hayner would be better up top than Chris Martin. I've seen a lot of people. I mean, that's the thing is, like, people were expecting. I mean, you would expect a lot, but when you look at his age and stuff, 34, he's 35 soon. He can only offer so much. But yeah, I did. To be fair, at the game yesterday, I seen a lot of people going in on Martin, but he can only do so much. He's not agile. He's only good in the box. He can hold the ball up like he did for the goal, but. Yeah, and Ben also saying you're still with a back five, aren't you? Like, is your style of play what you would expect from a Steve Evans? Is he still doing that sort of wing backs, big brutes in midfield at the back, and sort of what's your style of play under Evans? And do you still play a back five?
Yeah, we play back five. Yeah, we've got the three with the two wing backs. Yeah, look, we are what we are. We know what we are. We're fast, we're direct. We get the ball forward early. We like to play with some of the creative players in the final third. To be honest with you, it's been something recently that I think we've seen, especially when we've played some of the top sides. The style that hasn't necessarily worked against some of those better sides recently. Your Oxfords, your Blackpools. We've tried to play that way and actually probably have needed to keep the ball a little bit better. But against the mid-table sides and sides down the bottom, it's a style that has worked really well this season. And I think what we do really well as well is not only is the group super fit and they play very till the last whistle of the game, but we've got this knack of kind of suffocating teams and getting them to play the way that we want to play, getting you in your own half, not letting you out your half. And it's almost like volleyball at times. The ball come back and then in and then back and then in. So we like to offload and get the ball into the box very fast with Aaron Presley up there and other players in and around that area. So, yeah, look, we are what we are. We know what we are. Fast, direct. We love our set pieces. We've got some really good players in there who can attack the ball, like your Cole Piagianis, who are a massive threat from set pieces. So, yeah, that's our style. We'll play with the back five on Tuesday, and we'll probably set up the way that we've pretty much set up the whole of this season so far.
Yeah, that's pretty. I think, to be fair, I think that's pretty much. I've already seen the back five, and the thing is with us, as we have really struggled against it this season. Whenever anyone's played a back five, we have really struggled. But yeah, hopefully that can change. I think with us, especially us being the home team, it's important that we start well, especially after the last few sort of games. There's still going to be a lot of anger from Saturday. But we have been doing well the last few at home. Hopefully, hopefully we can make it four unbeaten at home. But it's so important that we get the first goal, but we usually do well when we get the first goal. But Burton, we got the first goal, went 1-0 up, and it just went mental. And Ben saying how have Stevenage coped under noisy big crowds like when they played against Blackpool? Like, I mean, to be fair, it shouldn't really matter, should it? Even like whoever you play for, whoever you play against. I know it does have a little bit of an impact, but yeah, what have you made of that? Because obviously a lot of games you've been going, I've seen you went to Blackpool as well. Like, what have you made of it when you've gone away to like the sort of big sides and that?
Yeah. I mean, look, it's been great because as Stevenage supporters, we were down the bottom of League Two for so many years and fighting to stay up. So it's been brilliant to go watch our team and our club play at these big grounds like your Boltons, and we've got many more to play in terms of your Derbys and your Barnsleys coming up over the season. But yeah, the crowd will always have an effect for the home side. But in terms of us, no, I wouldn't say it affects the side. I mean, I think what a lot of people don't realise is when we came into this division, we upgraded the team and actually signed a lot of players that have been playing in League One for a long time. And so actually some have played Championship, oddly. So a lot of the players that we have are used to playing in front of big grounds and big crowds because they've only been doing that their whole careers. I mean, when I look at our squad and I look at Nathan Thompson and Dan Butler, before we got them, they played at Sheffield Wednesday that night when they lost 5-0. So, these guys and the players we've got are, used to playing in front of your hostile crowds, over 15,000 every week. So it doesn't really have an effect on the team. They're all professionals. Steve Evans is a top manager as well. He's been there and done that. So, yeah, in terms of crowds and stuff like that, the players aren't phased. I mean, a lot of them went to Aston Villa last season and won. So, they're not phased by crowds, etc. And especially with the new players that we've got in League One, they're used to this division. They know what the division is. So if anything, I actually think the players prefer it. They want to play in front of big crowds. Yes. They want to play in front of a lot of people, and especially away from home, it gives the team a bit of a chip on the shoulder to go and get a result. So it hasn't had a massive effect. I think the results that we've had at the likes of Blackpool, for example, has just been down to the style of play that we've played that day against a top side. So, but no, I don't think the crowds have had a massive impact on us, no.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I wouldn't, like you said, I mean, talking about your sort of recruitment, like you said, you brought in some, brilliant, like Butler is one. And can you like explain? Because obviously I know you made loads of signings. You've and like you said, a lot of them have played League One, some have played Championship. I mean, talk about some of the players that you have signed and sort of the impact they've had on your squad. Obviously, being a good one, like you're sixth in the league, doing really well. So yeah, just if you can let us know some of the players you've signed and sort of your thoughts on them so far.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it was a bit of an interesting one for us when we got promoted and come up to this division. Again, I think all of us were in absolute disarray for a couple of months. But, the management team went to work straight away. And I think Steve looked at it coming into League One and kind of thought, well, we can come up with that, original group that got us up to League One. But, do we really want to be competitive in this division? Do we just want to come up and stay up and not do a lot and be within those bottom positions, but stay over the dotted line with that original group? Or do we want to upgrade the team, sign League One players / Championship players and actually compete at the level? Steve's a winner, and we all knew that Steve was going to sign players that are League One players. So, when we look through the squad, Nathan Thompson and his brother Louis Thompson, play for Portsmouth. Dan Butler, Aaron Pressey. I know Aaron Pressey didn't have a great season at Accrington, although he scored a few goals in that season, but he's played League One football, and a lot of the original players that we had are good enough for League One. When we talk about the players like Jordan Roberts, who are kind of League One / Championship players, Ben Thompson, who played for Millwall in the Championship. There's a lot of players here that we've signed that have played League One and Championship level. So I think that was the goal coming up. We recruited the right players and had the success early. I think in terms of the new players that have impressed me, I think Nathan Thompson's been great, and he's got that real League One Championship pedigree. A lot of Championship sides are after him in the summer window. I think Steve admitted he's been brilliant and has been a real standout player for me. That experience and quality at the back is so important at this level, and he almost kind of generals the team back there in that position that he plays in between the three. So he's been great. But I think some of our original players that actually come up with us, Jordan Roberts, Jamie Reid. I mean, Reedy, BGR's got a nickname at our club, Big Goal Reedy, because he just scores big goals in big games all the time. Top goal scorer, second top goal scorer in the league. He's a player that, when we got Reedy, we were down the bottom of League Two, and we didn't know where he was going to go in his career. And I think if someone would have said that, be second top goal scorer in League One a couple of years later, we all would have laughed. But, here he is. He's massively improved under Steve. I think Reedy's a big player. And again, even Carl Piergiani got relegated with Oldham a couple of years ago, and he's captain us in League One. He's a big player for the division. So we've got all these new players, but a lot of those original players have really stepped up as well. But yeah, look, the recruitment has been fantastic. We had to upgrade the team to be competitive. We did that. And I think we've seen in the opening 14 matches that how important that was for us to be competitive in League One. So yeah, Steve's done a great job. And I still think that he might look to bring in a few more in January. But yeah, it's been a really, really good start with the new players that we brought in.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty, like you said, that Jamie Reid, I remember he come through Exeter's academy. I remember him as a youngster back, 8-9 years ago, when it was like him, Matt J. I think even he was up front with Ollie Watkins when Ollie Watkins was at Exeter. And then he sort of fell down the pecking order. I think he went to Torquay, and like I don't know if it was I think he was there when he went down to like the 3rd division. Or was it the South? Went to the South, then went back up, and he got like something crazy, like 70 goals in 2 seasons. And then he made the move to Mansfield. Didn't really work out there. And then you probably thought, we're signing this player. But like you said, this season he's been second top goal scorer, 8 goals, a real brute of a striker. And like you said, he scored a lot of big goals, so he's on the thumbnail as well, because he's the man to watch out for. I mean, Neil, what's your thoughts going into this game? Obviously we'll get on to our predictions and lineup predictions for both Rovers and Stevenage in a minute, but going into the game, what do you make of Stevenage coming to the Mem on Tuesday night?
I said earlier on, I think it could get worse before it gets better. And I think, honestly, if I'm Stevenage, I think Rovers are tailor-made for him, to be honest. They're tailor-made for him to go and get himself back to winning ways. Big, strong, direct, know exactly how to apply pressure in wide areas to get the ball in the box. And Evans is no mug. He'll know that we're goal shy. He'll know that he'll want a lot of the ball and we'll go nowhere fast with it. They'll probably say to him, let him have it, and then punish him when you get it, either from set pieces, big diags, get it nice and wide and in the box early and cause a bit of chaos that way. And I think we could get beat Tuesday. I really do.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
You look at how they're built, Stevenage, how big, strong, and physical. They love the second ball. We were really good at the second ball before of Saturday. They'll fancy their chances on the second ball, like Matt spoke about. Piergiani, he wins everything. Literally wins it. They're in an aerial battle. If you look at his stats, he probably wins 96% of his aerial duels. It'll be a big handful, whether we've got Connor Taylor or not. He seems to win everything. He's like the ball's a magnet to him. I think he causes chaos in both boxes.
Yeah,
and that's where we suffer.
Like
both boxes is our problem.
Yeah, and like you said, we usually struggle against those sort of more physical teams as well. And the teams that like to play sort of, get everyone in the box, like we've seen on Saturday, really, even getting it to those areas. And like you said, you've got Reid on good form, you've got Presley. I think he scored against us at Accrington last season as well. And a lot of dangerous players. You've got Butler, who I rate, Dan Butler, left wing back, I rate highly. I wanted us to sign him in the summer, but obviously you signed him, and it is going to be tough. We talked about form. I've quickly got it here in the league. Obviously, we talked about their 0-0 draw against Port Vale, lost 3-0 away to Blackpool, beat Wigan at home 1-0, lost 3-2 away to Bolton, and lost 3-1 against Oxford. So you've had a tough run in there, and you got 4 at the last 15. Whereas Rovers obviously lost our last 2. I think that's our first time we've got back-to-back losses in the league this season as well. Obviously, we beat Port Vale 3-0 at home, lost 2-0 to Peterborough away, and obviously we did smash Wigan 4-1. So we've got 2 more points than you in the last 5 games. So it is going to be tight. It is going to be a nervy game. Quickly, before we get on to our lineup predictions, strengths and weaknesses of Stevenage. Where can we get at you, and what do you think your main strengths is as a team?
Well, I think strength is really the way that we play with the players we've got. I've said this a lot. I think if you look in League One, the way we play is quite a unique style. You'll have a lot of sides that like to play a lot of football, which we've seen in the opening 40 matches. And the way we've played, I don't think sides are as well equipped for that in this division. And I think we've seen that from a lot of the matches that we've played so far in League One. So I think our strengths are, the way that we play. We've got some good players that can play that style really well. And I think that's a massive strength for us. I would throw set pieces in there as well as a strength, attacking them. I think attacking set pieces, we've got some terrific players in there that can cause any side problems. I think if I'm looking at a weakness, I think one weakness that we've seen when we've played some of the big sides, so your Oxfords and your Blackpools, is a quick transition where those teams have got the ball back and they've played some good football through the lines at pace. I think that's possibly been a weakness for us against those good sides. Although those good sides do it so well and they move the ball quickly in quick transition. So I think that would probably be one. But and maybe we could score a few more goals as well. We've had a lot of good chances where, we talk about Jamie Reid's got 8 to 9 goals. You should have about 16. So maybe we could put the ball in the net more. But I would say that if I'm picking one, I'd say that's something we probably need to be better at, defending the quick transition of football when we haven't got the ball. But yeah, look, if you're looking at kind of strengths for us, it would be the way that we play and how we play. I would be looking at from the 40 matches that we've played, to be strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And quickly, last question before we get on to lineup. Ben asks, what's your thoughts on Rovers this season? Because we had Ed, Ed very well, Ed Walker. He was on for our Burton preview, and he was saying he was very disappointed in Barton and the way Rovers have been so far, and since we've been in League One. Obviously, this is our second season. What have you made to? If you've seen a lot of us, what have you made to our start of the season? Any players that you're sort of worried about, etc.?
Yeah, I think look, this division that we're all in is such a fantastic league. I know a lot of people that I've heard this season have been saying it's probably not as good as last season because there was a lot of big clubs that went up in Sheffield Wednesdays, etc. But it's a terrific division. You've got a lot of money. You've got massive clubs that should never be in League One. So the division's always going to be tough, and it doesn't matter even if you have Fleetwood on the weekend. It will still, it's still a tough game. So I think in terms of Bristol Rovers, look, you won't want to be where you are in the table. You'll want to be a lot higher. I mean, did I have you higher on my predictions at the start of the season? I did. And I can imagine it's probably been a little bit disappointing from where you are in the division. But look, there's a lot of time. We've played 14. Other teams have played 13 and 12 games. It's still relatively early. We're not even in the proper winter part of the season yet. I think if I'm picking out a player from Bristol Rovers that you'd look at, it would obviously be Collins up top because the guy's, a proven goal scorer. He's done it in different divisions, and I think he's a really, really good player as well. So he'd certainly be someone that we'd look at and want to make sure that we keep him quiet on Tuesday. But I think the thing is, at this start of the season, again, you'll see teams that might not have the greatest start to the season that have this climb. I mean, we use Burton and Charlton, right? I remember at the start of the season, everyone was looking at Burton going, God, they're going to have a tough year. And then all of a sudden, they're up in 10th and 9th, Leighton Orient as well. And, Charlton, again, they were down there at the start of the season. They're up in 10th now. So, look, obviously, you'll be disappointed with the start, but there's such a long way to go. And to go along with that, I think this is why we're over the moon with our tally, because, to have 22 points, we're really happy about, because we're only halfway nearly to getting over 40. So there's so much time. But I think in terms of thinking about Bristol Rovers, I think you'll eventually climb up the division soon. Whether that's with Barton or without, I don't know. But I don't think you'll be down there come the end of the season, though.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, like you said, it is. That's the thing. It is still tight. It is still early. Ben said earlier on. Even say if we beat you, we're only 4 points off you. So that's how tight it is. We're 17th. You're 6th. If we win, we're 4 points behind you. So it is still early. But yeah, keep hitting the like button if you haven't already. 30 people currently tuned in as well, and obviously a lot of people will be watching it on the replay like they always do. So make sure you do hit the like button. Make sure you check out Matt's Twitter and the podcast. I've put them in the description as well. So do go and give him and the podcast will follow. Really quality content, and Matt loves his stuff. If you want good energy, a great bloke, then Matt's your guy as well. But we're going to get into lineup predictions as well. We'll come to you in a minute, Matt, for your Stevenage lineup. But for us, it's going to be another mad one because Woods is suspended now for 3 games. You got Giovanni Brown back from suspension after his 2 yellows against Oxford. Kramer, Marquis. It could be another mad lineup where you see 4 or 5 changes. Let us know in the comments your Rovers starting 11. Neil, what would you go with for Tuesday night?
I'd go with Cox in goal, Josh Grant left back. Hopefully Hunt's back again to play right back. Connor Taylor and probably Kramer at centre half. Bogard and Finley in the screen with Evans in front of that. Collins and Brown wide of Martin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair enough. So you wouldn't put Marquis straight back in.
I think if Marquis is back as early as he was to go on the bench, and he's come back earlier than what you'd expect anyway. Chris Martin is only going to get fitter by playing games. So if you can get another hour out of Chris Martin Tuesday, then why not do that? I just don't think putting Martin on the bench, if he's got an hour in him, does us any good in the long run of us keeping him until January, until his deal's up. If you want the bloke fit, he's got to play games.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, BRC Bill, appreciate you tuning in as well. And he's saying lineups are like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get. Yeah, especially now at the minute, it's pretty with all the injuries, players getting knocks. Like Barton said, Grant Ward has got another knock after being out for the last month and a half or so. Matt, what would your Stevenage starting 11 be for Tuesday night? Do you think? Or what would you do if you were Big Steve for the game?
Well, I think the first thing we have to do, I think going from Saturday's 0-0 against Port Vale is, look, we know our style's direct. And on Saturday, we played Jamie Reid with Jordan Roberts up top. And maybe for the first half, it just we didn't really get a grip on the game because we probably played the wrong way to the 2 players that we had up top. So for me, Tuesday, I think it's really important that Aaron Pressley goes back into that starting 11 because, he's the big man, 6'3", 6'4" up top. He suits your style very well. And he scored a couple of goals as well this season in League One. So has to go back in for me. Other than that, it will be a pretty similar side. It will be Tay, Ashby Hammond in goal. Dependent on if Dan Sweeney's back fit for us on Tuesday, but it'll be a similar back line to the one that we played on the weekend with Kane Smith right wing back, Luther Wilding, Nathan Thompson, Carl Pigiani, and Dan Butler. That'll probably be the back line. Midfield again will be similar. I'm assuming it'll be Terence Van Kooten, who's actually a defender, but being kind of deployed in that midfield. She's very good on the ball. With Jake Forster-Caskey, who again he's I played championship football for Charlton and a proper League One quality player, and I really like him. I think he's a top player, Jake. He'll definitely start. It'll probably be 2 sitting there with Jordan Roberts in a floating role, and you're going to have to keep your eye on him. He's a top player, Jordan Roberts. He should be playing championship football. Top player. And what I love about Jordan is he'll get the ball from one area of the pitch and get you to the other area of the pitch in quick succession. And you need those type of players in this division. Not only that, he's a really big guy as well. So he holds up the ball, he wins his headers. He's a top class player. I love him. I think he's brilliant. He'll play in that free role. And then I'm assuming up top it'll be Aaron Pressley and Jamie Reid. And I think Steve plays that team and we play the direct style with Aaron Pressley in the starting 11. I'm really confident we can get a result, but that would be my team, and that's the team I think Steve will play on Tuesday.
I mean, to be fair, there's quite a lot of throwbacks in that team. I remember I'm pretty sure Jordan Roberts was an older shot when we were in the National League, and he in the away game he scored 2. I think I'm pretty sure he scored 2 free kicks. I think we drew 2-2, and even Forster-Caskey, he was, like you said, I think injuries have just hampered his career because he's got all the quality. He scored against us in the COVID season away at Charlton, a free kick, and I'm pretty sure he scored against at the Mem when he was with Oxford on loan from Brighton. going back 10, 11 years ago. So there's a lot of good players, and for me, my team, I would go Coxey in goal. Hopefully Hunt is right back. Obviously he was touch and go, like he makes us look so much better in the proper style that we play. The quality is, even though I like, I love Luca Hall, like Jack Hunt just got that experience and quality. He's been there, done it. Hopefully he's back. So him right back. Kramer against his teammate from Brentford in Presley, obviously both on loan. And then Connor Taylor centre back with Kramer. I agree with Neil again. Josh Grant at left back. Agree with the midfield as well. What can you really do? McCormick's out, Woods is out. There aren't really a lot of options. Now we've got suspensions and injuries. So Finley with Lamar Bogard sitting with Evans in front. Hopefully he can get another goal like he did Saturday. And then, to be fair, I would go. Oh, it's tough, It's tough up front. Obviously, right wing would be Giovanni Brown, left wing would be Collins, and then up front, I'm not sure. I'm not sure Martin or Marcus. I'm not really sure. Martin probably suits this game more because even though Marcus can hold the ball up, I really do like. I know a lot of people have been unimpressed with sort of fitness, etc. Martin, but it will take time. Like Neil said, he needs to play games. This is only his fourth game coming up on Tuesday. He didn't have a club before he signed for us. A month ago, 3 weeks ago. So he needs time, and I think I would go with him. Ben Darrell saying Cox, Hunt, Taylor, Kramer, Vale at left back, Bogard, Finley, Collins, Evans, Giovanni, Martin. I'd play Martin. Gutting really to leave Vale out because it's probably one of the worst of games he's had, but he's not a left back, and teams will target that because he's a winger, cam, and he's been played, even though he's been quality for us, and he's been almost like a winger. We've seen Burton done it, we've seen Port Vale done it. I would, again, him off the bench on the wing is a great option. Sinclair on the bench, so that'd be my starting 11. And getting on to predictions, let us know your score predictions. Now we're going to get onto them as well. Of course, if you're watching back on the replay, do leave them in the comments below. Neil, what is your score prediction? You talked about, it could get worse before it gets better. What's your score prediction for Tuesday night and your goal scorers for both teams if both teams are scoring?
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised by anything Tuesday. I wouldn't be surprised if we win. Wouldn't be surprised if we draw. Would not be surprised if we get beat. But I just think the blueprint to get at us is there for all to see. If you've got any sort of nous as a coach and staff, as a manager, the blueprint to get at Rovers and get success out of us is there for all to see. And Evans is a wily old fox. He'll know exactly. He'd have had us scouted. He'll have us looked at, and he'll know exactly where to hurt us. He'll tell us to go and absorb the early pressure that we will create. That's what we do. He'll say that they probably won't get much success. They are goal shy. We've got centre forwards that will not run away from you. They're going to play a back five, so they're going to have a centre half that will go out and challenge our wide men. That is our way of getting a bit of success. And then it's just a matter of playing the percentages to get overloads in the box, which Stevenage are good at. It's one of their strong areas. So from what I saw Saturday to going into Tuesday, where Stevenage will be told, get this crowd nervy and against them, and they'll turn like we do. That's just what happens at Rovers. If things don't go well for 20-25 minutes, it gets a bit jittery, especially in that Thatcher's. I can just see us getting beat 1-0 off a really messy either set piece or something that drops kindly off a second ball in the box, something like that.
1-0. Who are you going to go for goal scorer for Stevenage?
It could. I just think it'll come from like Piagini will win an header, and it'll be a knockdown, and someone like Van Kooten will just tap someone at home, something like that. You know what I mean? It'll just be a melee, And when we talk about rubber to green, we ain't getting it at the minute, and it'll be something like that.
I'd like that because Terence hardly scores. He does. I think he scored 1 goal for us in his whole 7 years. That'd be good for him to get a goal.
Well, if he's going to happen against anyone, trust me, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Harry Jenkins has gone 2-1 Rovers. Giovanni Brown with 2. Tom Butler's gone 2-1 Rovers. Keep getting your predictions in. Matt, what are you predicting for Tuesday? And let us know your goal scorers as well.
Yeah. Well, anyone that knows me knows I'm the most positive Stevenage Football Club fan ever. So, yeah, of course I'm going to. But if I'm realistic about it, I think, look, this is a really big match for us. I think, again, a win gets us to 25 points, half of 50 points. Just that, get into that ground, having our 5th away win. There's so much on it, and so much on it for this team because we've had a tough run and we've played a lot of the top sides recently, and a win would just, kind of confirm to the players that we're a top side and we can be competitive in this division. And yeah, look, I think it's going to be a tough game. Look, the Tuesday night away matches in this division are always tough. You're a very good side. You've got some good players. But I'm actually going to match Neil's and go for a 1-0 victory. I think we might get it over the line. I think Jamie Reid will find the back of the net. But yeah, I'm going to go 1-0 for us. Jamie Reid to score.
Yeah. Matt also going 1-0. But yeah, like you said, I'm a very positive, probably one of the most positive Rovers fans that's out there, really. It's tough because obviously I was at this, the shambles that was yesterday. But coming back home, like Neil said, that's the thing that does worry me. It's a Steve Evans side. He's probably done it before. I can't remember the last time he come to the Mem. He come to the Mem in COVID and beat us with Gillingham, but with another team I can't remember. But it is one of those games where you think, Stevenage are coming to town. It's going to be tough. Steve Evans, you know what he does. Stevenage have got some good players. They've been good on the road. But there is a but in there. I do think we'll get back to winning ways. Neil's laughing, but I do think we'll bounce back. I think Giovanni Brown being back is really important, and also Kramer, to sort of give Vale a bit of a rest. Grant go out wide, 2 natural centre backs, and yeah, I also agree with a lot of Rovers fans already that have said in the comments I'm going to go 2-1. I'd love to say a clean sheet, but I said that for our Burton preview, I said we'll win 2-0 and we go and lose 4-1. But yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Rovers. I think it'll be from a set piece we concede. We do love conceding a set piece goal. I'll go Piers Yanni to score for you. But I do think we'll win 2-1, and I'm going to go with Connor Taylor to score and Aaron Collins to score. So yeah, I'm going for a 2-1 win, but Neil and Matt have both gone for 1-0 away wins as well. And Mike Hardiman in the comments who's a Stevenage fan. 2-0 Borough win. Reid and Roberts with the goal. BRC Bill saying can see this being a carbon copy of the MK Dons home game last year. Can see Stevenage getting an early goal in the first half and then a last minute one to clinch it. Yeah, it is really important, but it's tough. Yeah, like Harry 2-1, Tom Butler 2-1, Ben Darrell saying have to bounce back at home 2-1, Martin and Evans with a free kick, Steve Evans free kick for Stevenage. But yeah, we're pretty much going to end it here. Just been going over an hour. I want to thank everyone that's tuned in on the live as always. Like I said, if you're watching it on the replay, do leave your predictions, your lineup predictions, and your score predictions. And yeah, thanks to Matt. Appreciate you for coming on. Like I said, do go and check out his Twitter. Go and follow the Stevenage FC Podcast. You can find them on all the the main platforms as well. And yeah, all the best. Obviously after Tuesday, I hope we can get a win against you. And also, again, thanks to Neil for coming on as always. And yeah, we'll be back next Thursday as we will be going over Tuesday's game and obviously talking about the Northampton preview. Obviously, there's a lot of bad blood to go on and talk about them next week after what happened a few years ago. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hit the like, subscribe, and up the gas.